Why understanding women is the first step to real love. They say love finds you when you least expect it. That sounds good on paper, maybe even romantic. Movies and social media tell us that one day, you'll just bump into the one at the grocery store or swipe right on the perfect profile. But here's the truth. Love isn't about luck. It's about alignment. And alignment begins with one thing most men skip: understanding women. If you've ever wondered why you keep attracting women who aren't right for you, why your relationships feel shallow, or why they end in patterns that repeat again and again, it's not because there aren't good women out there. It's because you haven't yet learned how to really know a woman. Jung once said, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate." Many men live unconsciously in dating, projecting their own needs, fears, and assumptions onto women instead of learning how women actually think, feel, and love. When you skip this step, you end up confusing chemistry with connection and attraction with alignment. The truth? To attract the woman of your dreams, you first need to understand women deeply, not in a generic, one-size-fits-all way, but in the sense of grasping their emotional world, values, and needs. Without that understanding, you'll always be playing a guessing game. Why men misunderstand women. Let's be real. Most men grow up without real guidance on women. Movies show us surface-level romance flowers, dates, a few clever lines, and tell us that's enough. Society pushes the idea that success, money, or looks are the key to love. But ask women what truly matters, and the answers go deeper: emotional safety, respect, consistency, and a man who sees them, not just their appearance, not just their role in his life, but them. Here's where many men miss the mark. They try to impress instead of connect. They chase attention instead of understanding needs. They assume women think like men, when in reality, women process love, trust, and intimacy differently. If you don't know how women experience the world, you'll misread signals, miss opportunities, and mishandle connections. The core of knowing a woman. Understanding women isn't about memorizing pickup lines or learning tricks. It's about seeing her values, emotions, and desires. Here's what that means. 1. Know her core values. Every woman lives by principles that matter most to her: loyalty, honesty, respect, growth. When you ignore these, she feels unseen. When you align with them, trust begins. 2. Understand her emotional needs. Women don't just want attention, they want to feel safe, respected, and cherished. If she can't relax emotionally with you, she won't stay, no matter how much attraction there is. 3. Recognize her desires. Women want more than just companionship. They want partnership, a man who respects her dreams, not just his own. 4. Pay attention to the unspoken. Women communicate as much through tone, energy, and subtle cues as they do with words. If you only listen to words but miss her feelings, you'll miss her entirely. When you take time to understand a woman this way, you stop confusing temporary sparks with true compatibility. Why this matters before she arrives. Too many men make this mistake. They wait until they meet a woman to start thinking about how to treat her. By then, it's too late. Patterns and habits kick in, and you end up repeating the same cycles. But if you prepare yourself now by learning how women think, feel, and love, you'll stand out immediately. Why? Because most men don't do this work. Most men approach women through guesswork. The man who approaches with clarity, empathy, and understanding is rare. And rarity is magnetic. The trap of misunderstanding. Here's what happens when you don't know women deeply. You think attention equals interest. You assume physical attraction is enough. You push too hard or pull away too soon. You mistake her politeness for desire. You get frustrated when she says "I'm fine" but doesn't mean it. This isn't because women are confusing, it's because you haven't yet learned their language. Once you do, everything changes. Practical steps for men to start knowing women. Here's how you begin. 1. Study. Don't stereotype. Don't rely on cliches like all women want bad boys or women only care about money. Observe women in real life, your friends, co-workers, family, and notice how unique they are. 2. Ask, don't assume. When dating, Ask about her values, passions, and boundaries. Don't assume you already know. 3. Reflect on your past. Look back at past relationships. What went wrong? Did you miss her emotional needs? Did you ignore red flags? What patterns repeat? 4. Learn emotional intelligence. Understanding women is about more than logic, it's about empathy. Practice listening without interrupting. Practice validating feelings even when you don't agree. 5. Be curious. Women love being known. Show real interest not just in what she does, but in who she is. Curiosity builds connection faster than charm ever will. The mirror effect. Here's something most men overlook. Women often reflect your own energy back to you. Or if you're insecure, you'll attract relationships full of insecurity. Or if you're unclear, you'll attract confusion. Or if you're grounded, you'll attract grounded women. When you do the work to understand women, you also end up understanding yourself more deeply. The more emotionally intelligent you become, the more high-quality women are drawn to you. Why this knowledge sets you apart. In a world where many men try to win women over with surface-level gestures, the man who seeks to truly understand stands out. He's the one she trusts. He's the one she respects. He's the one she chooses when it comes to long-term love. Because here's the truth. Women don't want to be impressed, they want to be understood. Before you can win a woman's heart, you have to learn how to know it. Understanding her world is the first key that unlocks everything else. Why authenticity makes men irresistible to women. Most men think women want perfection, the perfect job, the perfect body, the perfect lifestyle. So they try to impress bragging about achievements, showing off, or playing roles they think will make them more desirable. Here's the truth. Women aren't looking for a perfect man. They're looking for a real man. And real doesn't mean flawless, it means authentic. A man who owns who he is, without pretending, is infinitely more attractive than a man performing a role. Why? Because women can sense authenticity. The way you can. Sense danger, it's almost instinctual. They can feel when you're putting on an act. And once they sense that, trust evaporates. Jung once said, "The privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are." For men in relationships, this is doubly true. The more authentic you are, the more magnetic you become. The problem with performance. Many men fall into the trap of performance in dating, are acting more confident than they feel, are pretending to have more money or status than they do, are saying what they think she wants to hear instead of what they believe, are hiding weaknesses out of fear they'll be rejected. At first, this might work. Performance can attract attention, but it can't sustain connection. Eventually, the mask slips. And when it does, she realizes she never actually knew you. This isn't just disappointing, it feels like betrayal. Why women value authenticity. Authenticity matters to women for one powerful reason: safety. A woman can only relax into love when she feels safe. And safety doesn't come from money, looks, or smooth talk. It comes from knowing the man in front of her is exactly who he says he is. When you're authentic, as she doesn't have to guess what you're really thinking, as she can trust your words match your actions, as she knows you won't change masks once she lets her guard down. Authenticity isn't about oversharing or dumping your insecurities on her, it's about being consistent and real. The masculine strength of vulnerability. Here's a myth many men believe: vulnerability is weakness. They think showing doubt, fear, or imperfection makes them less masculine. But women see it differently. True vulnerability, when you admit your truth without shame, shows confidence. It tells her, "I'm strong enough to be real with you." Examples of authentic vulnerability. A saying, "I don't have it all figured out yet, but I'm working on it." Or admitting when you're nervous instead of faking bravado. A sharing your genuine passions, even if they're not traditionally cool. These moments don't make you weak, they make you trustworthy. How authenticity builds attraction. A man who's authentic creates attraction on a deeper level than looks or charm. Why? Because authenticity creates connection. Here's how it works. 1. Consistency equals safety. When you're the same man in every setting, she relaxes. She knows what she's getting. 2. Honesty equals respect. Telling the truth even when it risks rejection earns respect. Respect fuels attraction. 3. Self-acceptance equals magnetism. A man at peace with himself is magnetic. He doesn't need approval, so he's not desperate for it. Common mistakes men make are overselling themselves. Bragging about achievements feels like insecurity, not strength. Hiding flaws. Pretending to be perfect is exhausting and transparent. Playing roles. Acting like the bad boy, the player, or the alpha isn't sustainable. Dishonesty. Even small lies about intentions, lifestyle, or feelings destroy trust. Every one of these mistakes comes from fear of not being enough. But here's the paradox: when you stop trying to be enough and simply be yourself, women respond more powerfully than you ever expected. Practical ways to be more authentic with women. 1. Be honest about intentions. If you're looking for something casual, say so. If you want something serious, say so. She may not like the answer, but she'll respect your honesty. 2. Stop people pleasing. Don't agree just to keep her happy. Speak your truth with respect. Women don't want yes men, they want real men. 3. Admit what you don't know. It's okay to say, "I'm not sure." Pretending to know everything is arrogance, not strength. 4. Share your real passions. If you love books, music, cooking, or even video games, own it. Passion is attractive. Pretending to like what she likes is not. 5. Be the same man everywhere. Don't treat her one way in private and another way in public. Authenticity means consistency. Why authenticity is rare and valuable. Many men struggle with authenticity because they've been taught to wear masks. The strong provide a mask. The charming play a mask. The successful career mask. But here's the reality. Masks may attract attention, but they block intimacy. The woman of your dreams isn't looking for your mask, she's looking for you. And because so few men live authentically, the ones who do are unforgettable. The long-term power of authenticity. Looks fade. Status shifts. Charm gets old. What lasts is character. When a woman chooses a man long-term, she's choosing his character, the part of him that remains when everything else changes. Authenticity is the foundation of that character. It's why a woman will say, "He's not the flashiest guy, but I trust him completely. He doesn't pretend, what you see is what you get. I feel safe being myself with him." That's the kind of love that lasts. Final thought. Authenticity isn't about being perfect. It's about being real. The man who owns who he is will always outshine the man pretending to be what he thinks women want. Because here's the truth. Women don't want an act. They want a man. And the real you, flaws and all, is always more attractive than the mask. Why respecting women's boundaries builds unshakable trust. When most men hear the word boundaries, they think of restrictions, rules, walls, things that limit them. But here's the truth. Boundaries aren't barriers to connection. They're the very thing that makes connection possible. If you want to know how to win a woman's trust, here it is in one sentence. Respect her boundaries without hesitation, without argument, and without resentment. The men who understand this are rare. That's why they stand out. Why boundaries matter so much to women. A woman's boundaries are not random. They're built from her values, her past experiences, and her sense of safety. Think about it this way. Her boundaries are her way of protecting her peace. Her boundaries are how she teaches people to treat her. Her boundaries are her filter for knowing who deserves access to her life. When you respect her boundaries, she feels safe. When she feels safe, she can open up emotionally and romantically. When you ignore her boundaries, she feels disrespected. And when respect is gone, attraction soon follows. The misunderstanding men often have. Too many men see boundaries as tests or games. They think, she's just playing hard to get. If she liked me, she wouldn't have boundaries. I can convince her to change her mind. This mindset is deadly for connection, because the moment you push against a boundary, you send her a clear signal. I care more about what I want than about your comfort or needs. And no woman will trust a man who sends that message. Boundaries create trust. Respecting a woman's boundaries doesn't push her away, it pulls her closer. Why? Because when she sees that you honor her no, she starts to believe she can trust you with her yes. Here's the formula. A respect creates safety. A safety creates trust. A trust creates attraction. It's that simple. Types of boundaries women set. Men often miss that boundaries come in different forms. Here are some you'll encounter. 1. Physical boundaries. How much touch she's comfortable with and how quickly. 2. Emotional boundaries. How fast she wants to open up about her past, feelings, or vulnerabilities. 3. Time boundaries. How much time she can invest in dating while balancing work, family, or personal priorities. 4. Communication boundaries. How often she wants to talk, text, or meet up. 5. Value-based boundaries. What she will and won't tolerate in terms of honesty, respect, or lifestyle choices. A man who recognizes these and respects them shows he's not just chasing his own agenda, he's genuinely interested in her. What respect looks like. Respecting boundaries doesn't mean you're passive. It means you're intentional. Here's how it looks. As she says she's not ready to take things physical, you slow down without complaint. As she says she needs space, you give it without guilt-tripping. As she says she won't tolerate lying or disrespect, you take her seriously. Respect is action, not just words. It's how you respond in the moment that tells her who you really are. What disrespect looks like. Men who lose women quickly often don't realize it's because they disrespected her boundaries, sometimes in small ways that seemed harmless. Examples of disrespect are pushing for intimacy when she isn't ready, are insisting on more of her time than she wants to give, are ignoring her when she says she's tired or busy, are making jokes that cross her comfort zone, are acting annoyed or withdrawn when she asserts herself. Every time you do this, you chip away at her trust. And once trust is broken, attraction rarely survives. Why boundaries make you more attractive? Here's the paradox. Many men think respecting boundaries will make them seem too nice or less masculine. But the opposite is true. A man who respects a woman's boundary shows a self-control. You're not ruled by impulse. A confidence. You don't see her no as a rejection of your worth. A strength. You're secure enough not to push or manipulate. That's real masculinity. That's what women call attractive. How to handle boundaries like a man. 1. Listen without arguing. When she states a boundary, don't debate it. Don't try to negotiate. Accept it. 2. Don't take it personally. Her boundaries are about her, not about you. Respecting them doesn't mean you're less desirable. 3. Be clear on your own boundaries. Boundaries go both ways. Know what you will and won't accept. 2. Women respect men who respect themselves. 4. Appreciate her honesty. Thank her for being clear. Most people aren't direct about boundaries. When she is, it's a gift. 5. Watch for consistency. If her boundaries shift over time, respect that too. People grow. Relationships evolve. Why boundaries strengthen relationships? Strong boundaries don't push people apart, they pull the right people closer. When you respect a woman's boundaries, as she feels safe opening her heart, as she relaxes around you, as she invests more trust and energy in you, as she sees you as a man who values her, not just what you can get from her. That's the kind of connection that lasts. Final thought. Respecting a woman's boundaries doesn't make you weak. It makes you trustworthy. And trust is the foundation of attraction, intimacy, and love. The men who ignore boundaries may get short-term attention, but they never earn lasting connection. The men who respect them, however, stand out as rare. Because here's the truth. Boundaries aren't walls to keep you out. They're doors to show you the right way in. Why real confidence is the secret magnet for women. If there's one trait women consistently say they want in a man, it's confidence. Not money. Not looks. Not charm. Confidence. But here's the problem. Most men misunderstand what confidence really is. They think it means being loud, dominant, or cocky. They think it means never showing weakness, always having the answers, and walking into every room like they own it. That's not confidence. That's arrogance, and women can spot the difference instantly. Real confidence is quieter, deeper, and far more attractive. It's not about pretending to be strong. It's about actually being grounded in who you are. Jung said it best. The privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are. Confidence. is the natural result of becoming yourself without apology. What confidence really means. Confidence isn't about being the loudest guy in the room. It's about being the most secure in yourself. Here's what true confidence looks like. A calmness. You don't need to prove yourself to everyone. A clarity. You know what you want and aren't afraid to say it. A composure. You don't crumble under pressure. A presence. You're fully engaged with the moment instead of seeking validation. That's the kind of confidence women find magnetic. Why women crave confidence. For women, confidence signals safety. Think about it. A confident man is steady, reliable, and grounded. He doesn't overreact. He doesn't disappear under stress. He doesn't get jealous over nothing. That kind of presence makes women feel secure. And when a woman feels secure, she can relax, open up, and fall in love. Confidence also shows leadership not in the sense of controlling her, but in the sense of being able to guide, decide, and move forward in life. A confident man says, I know where I'm going. You can trust me to handle it. That's incredibly attractive. The difference between confidence and arrogance. Many men confuse these two. Let's clear it up. A confidence. I'm comfortable with who I am. A arrogance. I'm better than everyone else. A confidence. You can admit when you're wrong. A arrogance. You always need to be right. A confidence. You respect other people's boundaries. A arrogance. You bulldoze through them. One makes women feel safe. The other makes them feel dismissed. Why fake confidence fails. Some men try to fake confidence acting tough, pretending to be in control, or exaggerating success. But women are highly intuitive. They can feel when confidence is real and when it's just an act. Fake confidence might impress for a moment. Real confidence creates lasting attraction. How real confidence is built. Confidence isn't a performance, it's a practice. It's something you build, not something you pretend to have. Here's how. 1. Keep promises to yourself. Every time you follow through, whether it's at the gym, in business, or in daily habits, you prove to yourself you can be trusted. That builds confidence. 2. Face your fears. Confidence grows when you do hard things, not when you avoid them. Start small. Have the conversation you're scared of. Take the risk you've been delaying. 3. Develop competence. Real confidence is tied to skill. The more you practice, the better you get. The better you get, the more confident you feel. 4. Stop comparing. Confidence comes from within, not from measuring yourself against other men. Stay in your lane. 5. Accept imperfection. True confidence isn't about being flawless. It's about being comfortable even when you're not. Confidence in action with women. Here's how confidence shows up in dating and relationships. Initiating. You take the first step instead of waiting endlessly. A clarity. You express your interest directly instead of hiding it. A boundaries. You walk away from disrespect instead of begging for attention. A calmness. You don't get rattled if she tests you or challenges you. A self-respect. You don't lose yourself in trying to please her. This kind of confidence doesn't chase, it attracts. The confidence test women use. Whether they realize it or not, women often test men for confidence. Not to play games, but to see if you're stable enough for a real relationship. These tests might look like a taking longer to reply, a saying no to see how you react, a challenging your opinion. If you're insecure, you'll get defensive, needy, or angry. If you're confident, you'll stay calm, respectful, and steady. That's the difference. Why confidence attracts the right women. Confidence doesn't just attract women, it attracts the right women. Here's why. Insecure women chase arrogant men. Confident women are drawn to confident men. A grounded man naturally filters out chaos because he doesn't settle for it. Confidence becomes a magnet and a filter at the same time. Final thought. Confidence isn't about showing off, it's about showing up. Women don't fall in love with perfection. They fall in love with presence, steadiness, and strength. The man who walks in arrogance may win attention, but the man who walks in confidence wins trust, respect, and love. Because here's the truth. Women don't need a man who knows everything. They need a man who knows himself. Why openness unlocks deeper connection with women. Most men think they know exactly what they want in a woman. She has to look a certain way, act a certain way, and fit a certain type. Maybe she needs to have a particular career, share your hobbies, or check every box on your mental list. Here's the hard truth. Those checklists often keep men single, or worse, stuck with the wrong women. Carl Jung said, "The shoe that fits one person pinches another." There is no recipe for living that suits all cases. Love works the same way. There is no single formula for the perfect woman. The moment you accept this, you open yourself to a deeper, more authentic kind of connection. The problem with rigid checklists: when you hold tightly to your type, you filter out opportunities. Without realizing it, you dismiss women who don't fit your ideal look. You overlook women with incredible values because they don't match your lifestyle. You ignore women who could challenge and inspire you because they come from a different background. Your checklist becomes a prison. It doesn't guide you toward the right woman, it blinds you to her. What women actually want you to see. Here's the truth. Women don't want to be types to be ticked off a list. They want to be seen as individuals, with their own depth, personality, and spirit. When you're open, you stop looking for a woman to fit your fantasy. Instead, you look at who she really is. Her values, her kindness, her resilience, her energy, the way she makes you feel when you're with her. That's what creates lasting attraction, not whether she happens to match the bullet points in your head. Why openness doesn't mean settling. A lot of men resist openness because they fear it means lowering their standards. But being open is not the same as settling. Settling is compromising on your core values. Openness is being flexible about the packaging those values come in. For example, maybe your checklist says she has to be tall. But the truth? Height doesn't determine loyalty, love, or depth. You could miss out on the most loving, supportive, incredible woman of your life because she didn't meet that shallow filter. Openness allows you to honor what actually matters: shared values, emotional connection, respect while letting go of what doesn't. The unexpected beauty of love. Some of the greatest love stories happen when men least expect it. The woman who didn't fit the look they thought they wanted. The woman from a different culture or background who expanded their worldview. The woman who challenged their assumptions and helped them grow. Love that defies expectation is often the most powerful, because it pulls you beyond your comfort zone. How to practice openness with women. Question your filters. 1. Ask yourself, why is this on my checklist? Is it truly a value, or is it conditioning from society, friends, or past wounds? 2. Focus on connection, not criteria. Instead of asking, does she fit my type? Ask, how do I feel when I'm around her? Am I more myself? 3. Stay curious. Replace judgment with curiosity. If a woman is different from what you expect, ask questions instead of shutting down. 4. Listen beyond the surface. Pay attention to how she thinks, how she treats people, how she responds under stress. These reveal her true character. 5. Take small risks. Say yes to a date with someone outside your type. You might be surprised by the connection. Why women notice when you're closed off. Women can feel when a man is open versus when he's rigid. A man who clings to his checklist comes across as judgmental, dismissive, or shallow. But a man who's open radiates curiosity, respect, and possibility. He makes women feel valued for who they are, not just how well they perform against a list. That openness is magnetic. It invites women to bring their full selves forward. The balance between standards and openness. Openness doesn't mean you accept everything. Your values, boundaries, and non-negotiables still stand. But here's the difference. Standards keep your self-respect. Openness expands your possibilities. Together, they ensure you don't settle for less, but you also don't shut out more. A Jungian perspective. Jung believed growth happens when we lean into the unknown, the paradoxes, the contradictions, the surprises. The same applies to love. If you only seek what's familiar, you'll only repeat the same patterns. If you open yourself to the unfamiliar, you invite transformation. Final thought on why openness unlocks deeper connection with women. Being open doesn't make you weak. It makes you wise. The strongest men are secure enough to let love surprise them. They don't need to control every detail. They trust that life can bring them something even better than what they imagined. Because here's the secret. The woman who changes. Your life probably won't look exactly like the one you pictured. And that's the beauty of it. A reminder, if you've made it this far, hit like, follow, and subscribe for more insights on understanding women and building real love. This is how you stay connected to content that sharpens your mindset and attracts the right relationships. The blueprint for men who want real love. We've covered a lot in this series. 1. Knowing yourself, because self-awareness is the foundation of attraction. 2. Authenticity, because fake confidence and masks can't sustain real connection. 3. Boundaries, because respect creates trust, and trust creates attraction. 4. Confidence, because steadiness, not arrogance, makes women feel safe. 5. Openness, because real love often looks different than what you imagined. Each piece matters. But here's the truth. The magic happens when you put them together. Why most men struggle with women. It's not because they're not tall enough. It's not because they don't make enough money. It's not because they're not alpha enough. It's because they've built no foundation. They're trying to attract women from a place of insecurity, performance, or control. Women feel it instantly. But when you know yourself, stand in authenticity, honor boundaries, radiate confidence, and stay open suddenly, you're rare. And rare men are irresistible. The shift that changes everything. Stop asking, how do I get women to like me? Start asking, how do I become the kind of man who naturally attracts the right woman? Because the truth is, the right woman isn't impressed by tricks. She isn't fooled by manipulation. She doesn't want you to be perfect, she wants you to be present. That's the shift. From chasing approval to embodying truth. What this looks like in action. You walk into a room knowing who you are, not hoping someone will validate you. You talk to women with curiosity, not performance. You listen as much as you speak. You can handle a no without flinching. You know what you stand for and you don't bend those values for attention. That's the man women notice. That's the man women trust. Why this isn't just about women. Here's the secret. When you master these 5 keys, it's not just your love life that changes, it's your entire life. Business gets better because you communicate with clarity and confidence. Friendships deepen because you're authentic and open. Stress lessens because you know who you are and where you're going. Attraction is just the byproduct of becoming your best self. Final word. Most men spend their lives chasing women. The smart ones spend their lives becoming men women can't help but be drawn to. The difference is massive. One is desperation. The other is mastery. So, here's the blueprint. Know yourself. Be authentic. Respect. Boundaries. Build. Real confidence. Stay open. Do this, and you won't just attract women, you'll attract the right woman. The kind who sees you, respects you, and builds a future with you. Because in the end, love isn't about finding someone to fill your emptiness. It's about becoming whole, so you can share that wholeness with another. If this series opened your eyes, I want to hear from you. Which part hit you the hardest? Knowing yourself, authenticity, boundaries, confidence, or openness? Drop it in the comments. And don't just scroll, share this with a brother who needs to hear it. The right men growing into themselves means better love, better families, and a better world.